Have you ever wondered how far human stupidity can go when mixed with greed and poor decision-making? Welcome to the top 12 dumbest robberies of all time. A journey through criminal genius gone horribly, hilariously wrong. Now, we're not here to encourage crime. And these aren't stories of criminal masterminds. These are stories of people who make you feel better about your own worst decisions. From doors that fight back to robbers who bring paperwork with their full name and address, or forget their own children at crime scenes. This is what happens when your brain goes on vacation and leaves your body holding a weapon. This video is a beautiful reminder of how life punishes not just crime, but incompetence. Each story is real, and in the end, there's always a moral, because life has a way of teaching lessons, especially when you ignore common sense. So buckle up, grab your popcorn, and prepare to meet some of the most brilliantly incompetent criminals the world has ever seen. Let's dive into the madness. Revolving Door of Doom, Rothesay, Scotland, 1975. The charming seaside town of Rothesay, famous for its castles, cold weather, and perhaps the most circular failure in bank robbery history. Two Scottish men had one job: rob a bank. Easy, right? Except they didn't count on their greatest enemy, a revolving door. On their first attempt, they got stuck. Yes, literally stuck between the glass panels. Bank staff had to help them out. How embarrassing. But these champions of persistence came back later, with a note demanding money. Staff thought it was a prank and ignored them. Desperate, one robber jumped the counter and promptly slipped, twisting his ankle. The final blow? They got stuck in the revolving door again during their escape. This time, the police opened the door and closed their case. Moral: if a door defeats you twice in one day, robbing a bank might not be your calling. Trigger Happy Fool, Piranha, Brazil, 2012. In sunny Brazil, where samba meets chaos, one man brought a shotgun to a bank and accidentally treated himself to a bullet buffet. There are many things you shouldn't do in a bank. Shooting yourself in the leg tops that list. One wannabe criminal walked into a bank with a shotgun, but nerves, adrenaline, and absolute lack of training kicked in. He fumbled the gun and pulled the trigger. Boom. He dropped to the floor, screaming in pain, while everyone else calmly called the police. By the time help arrived, he'd managed to hold up himself. Moral: if you can't aim your weapon properly, maybe stick to video games. Michael Lynn and the Burning Evidence, Dublin, Ireland, 2007. Dublin has seen its share of scandals, but few quite as flammable as this one. Meet Michael Lynn, a man who stole millions, then tried to burn his way out of trouble. Michael, polite bank robber by day, fire starter by night. After robbing a bank, while apologizing to the staff, mind you, Michael decided to burn his clothes to destroy evidence. But what he didn't realize was, his name and address were still in his pockets, on a receipt. The fire department arrived. So did the police. The evidence? Smoldering, but legible. And as for the stolen cash, let's just say it made his prison cavity search extra uncomfortable. Moral: if you're going to destroy evidence, maybe read what you're burning first. The Rent Receipt Robbery, Texas, USA, 2008. Everything's bigger in Texas, including the mistakes. When Maria Garcia ran out of paper, she grabbed the first thing on hand. Unfortunately, it had her home address on it. Maria Garcia wanted fast cash, so she wrote a note demanding money, but didn't have paper. No worries. She used the back of her rent payment slip, which included her full name, address, and phone number. The teller handed over the money. Then the police, using the note, handed her over to jail. Moral: crime tip number 1, don't leave a paper trail. Crime tip number 2, especially not with your full legal identity. The Orange Vest Bandit, Nottingham, England, 2019. Nottingham, the land of Robin Hood, and one very confused man in an orange vest, who clearly skipped the stealth lessons. 50-year-old Terence Cole just couldn't catch a break. First robbery. His scarf fell off mid-heist, revealing his face. Second try. The cashier hit the silent alarm before he finished his sentence. Third time. He threw away his clothes, but forgot a note with his girlfriend's address in the pocket. Final act. He left his fingerprints on the glass and wore his favorite bright orange vest. Guess what the witnesses remembered? The vest. Not exactly subtle. Terence. He was caught walking around town, still in the same vest. Moral: if you're going to commit crimes, maybe don't dress like a traffic cone. Bleeding in the Vault, Richmond, Virginia, USA, 2010. Some people dream big. One man from Virginia dreamed of robbing a bank by hiding inside after hours. It went downhill the moment glass met blood. One man thought he was a criminal genius. He snuck into a bank before closing, planning to wait inside. But when he tried to break the glass to get to the cash, he cut himself badly. Bleeding, panicking, and unable to escape, he did the only thing he could think of. He called 911. From inside the bank he was robbing, paramedics saved his life. The police? They saved the taxpayers some money by arresting him on the spot. Moral: if your plan involves waiting silently in the dark and bleeding alone, maybe reevaluate. Vet clinic, not a bank, Madison, Tennessee, USA, 2003. Only in America can someone walk into a vet clinic with the confidence of a man robbing a bank. Because, well, that was the plan. Some criminals do no research at all. A man in Tennessee walked confidently into a building, thinking it was a bank. It was a veterinary clinic. No cash, no vault, just a waiting room full of barking dogs and cat posters. He yelled for money, the receptionist laughed, and the vet called the cops. He fled empty-handed. But hey, maybe he got a rabies shot. Moral: Google Maps is free. Use it. Smoke break before jail, Berlin, Germany, 1994. Germans are known for following rules. Apparently, so was this bank robber, who respected the no smoking sign more than the law. One bank robber had a moral code: no smoking indoors. So, while the cashier was nervously loading his bag with money, the robber stepped outside for a smoke. Because, health comes first. When he came back in, the doors had locked behind him. The cashier was safe. The police were there. And the only thing he took home that day was a fine for public smoking. Moral: when you pause your crime for a cigarette, the universe takes a smoke break on you. Mothers of the Year, Queens, New York, USA, 2014. It was a regular day at a clothing store in Queens, until two mothers redefined the phrase family business. Two moms walked into a clothing store with their kids. They stuffed bags with stolen clothes while pretending to shop. Then they made their escape. Almost. They forgot something. Actually someone. Their child. Yes, they left their kid behind at the scene of the crime. The child calmly told police their full names, where they lived, and what they drove. The police waited at home, with cookies. Moral: if you can't remember your kid, maybe don't try to mastermind a heist. Counting Your Failures, Anchorage, Alaska, USA, 2018. If you're going to rob a bank in Alaska, you'd better move fast. This guy, he took his sweet time, counting every dollar as the cops rolled up. In Alaska, police responded to a robbery in progress. When they arrived, they found the suspect still inside, sitting at a table, counting the stolen money. He waved, smiled, and said, "I just needed a minute." Apparently, His plan was to count every last bill before fleeing. He miscalculated how fast the police are in Anchorage. Moral: time is money, and when you waste both, you get neither. So, what have we learned today? That stupidity, when mixed with desperation, makes for a legendary train wreck. That even the best plans fall apart when you forget your scarf, write your address on the robbery note, or confuse a vet clinic with a bank. But beyond the laughs and the face bombs, there's something real here too. Every person in these stories probably thought they had no other choice. They were broke, desperate, cornered. But the truth is, there's always another way. It might be harder, it might take longer, but asking for help, finding support, or starting from scratch is still better than ending up in prison, or bleeding in a vault, or being remembered not as clever, but as a cautionary tale. Crime might seem like a quick solution, but it's actually just a shortcut to a worse life. So if you're struggling, pause, breathe, talk to someone. There are free helplines, support groups, and real people who care, far more than any sack of stolen money ever will. Now, if you enjoyed this wild ride through human error, smash that like button, subscribe for more unbelievable true stories and the priceless life lessons they leave behind, and leave a comment. Which robbery was your favorite disaster? And why would you never try it? Because laughing is good, but learning is better.